All right, tonight we're going to look at multiplying decimals for your video lesson. We talked about adding and subtracting last night. One of the most important things that I'm going to be drilling into your head for this entire skill is that you are not necessarily going to be lining up the decimals when you're multiplying. At times, you might if it turns out that it's in the same place, but you do not line them up automatically. So we'll look at that here in just a few minutes, and I'll give you some examples of that. So go ahead and write down your lesson and the learning target, which is I will fluently multiply decimal numbers. And your only vocabulary that I have for you is product, which is the answer to a multiplication problem. So if you go ahead and stop and get that written down in your journal, and then we'll move on. First steps. In multiplying, you do not have to line up the decimals. Sometimes they do line up, but they do not have to line up as they do in adding and subtracting. Remember those non-negotiables in adding and subtracting? Have to. Most times, you will want to put the decimal with the most place value spots on the top. It just makes more sense that way. You're going to line up the last digits of both numbers. So the ones place, you're going to be lining that up. No matter where the decimal point is, you're lining them up. So if you can imagine an invisible line, and I always say I kind of scrunch both numbers all the way to the right, and then you go back and add your decimal last. So if you look at my arrow, I have 123.7 times 0.24, and the 7 and 4 are directly lined up underneath each other. Then I went back and I added my decimals where they belong. So everything is going to be just entirely flushed to the right. The next steps is you are making sure that all of your place value spots are lined up. Graph paper, notebook paper columns, like I talked to you about before, would be really helpful in this situation if necessary to keep everything nice and neat and straight. So you're going to multiply as usual. And then after multiplying, you're going to look at how many numbers are to the right of the decimals. And sometimes we say how many numbers are behind the decimal. So you're going to start all the way to the right of the answer and move the decimal to the left as many places as you counted in the above step. So however many spots there are behind the decimal in the problem, that is how many you're going to move as you move in your answer. So you're going to start from the right, go all the way to the left, and put your decimal in. So here are a few examples. I have 412 and 4/10 times just a whole number, just 2. So notice that there's one digit behind the decimal because the 2 doesn't have a decimal, so we only move one place from right to left. In the next problem, we have 35.6 times 0.12. So here, I am seeing that there are 3 places, and I moved 3 digits behind the decimal, and I think I forgot to put the decimal in front of that, so you're going to have to fix that for me. Oh, no, I did. You guys got to keep me on my toes. There we go. So 4.272. And don't forget that 0 as a placeholder. That is often a common mistake where that 356 is moved all the way over. Remember, when you're on that second line, you need a 0. I am going to start with 6, 7, 2, 3, and 6. So notice my little imaginary line right here. I pushed all the numbers all the way over, and I'm going to go back, put in my decimals here and here, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my multiplication. 6 times 3, we would have 18 and carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13, carry the 1. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 1 is 43, and 6 times 6 is 36, plus 4 is 40. So then I'm going to go back up in my problem, and there are 2 digits here behind the decimal and 1 here. So that makes a total of 3. So in my problem, I'm going to always start here at the right and go over 3 places for this one. So my answer is 40 and 338 thousandths. So check and see if that's what you got for that one. All right, our next one is a little bit longer, 134.73. I'm going to line up my 42. Then I'm going to go back. There's a decimal here, and then there's one out here in front. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. So here's where I talked earlier about that placeholder. We need to go ahead and put a 0 here. We can't start our 4 times 3 directly in this ones place. We need to move over. So I put a 0. So 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my 1. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 1 is 29. So I'm going to go up here. I don't need that. I need a 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Carry my 1. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. All right. 6, 6, 18. Carry my 1. 7 plus 8 is 15. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then we have 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a little bit longer of an answer. Go and check that one. Check my math. You can call me out on it tomorrow if I got it wrong. All right, last one. We have 0.34 times 1.2. So notice that my 4 and 2 right here are directly lined up. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. Here's my placeholder. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to add that up. Get 1, 8, 10. Carry my 1, 4. 1, 2, 3. And there's my answer for that one. So some of the takeaways that I want us to leave with are this. Do not automatically line up your decimals when multiplying. Sometimes they will be, but they will not be every time. So don't assume that with adding like you do with adding and subtracting. Line up the last digits of each number. Add your decimals where they belong. Multiply as usual. Don't forget your placeholders. Count how many decimals are behind the digits in the problem. Move that many places from right to left and insert your decimal and you're done. So I would highly recommend you brush up on your multiplication skills. This is going to be much easier, especially as we move into fractions soon. Multiplication is key. So we really, really want you to be able to know those facts quickly and without having to think about them very long. So if you need flashcards, just tell me and I can help you out with that. So hope this helped you. We will talk tomorrow and see how you're doing, and have a great night.